Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Thunder, and this is Two Dads React. Two Dads React. And we've got quite a show for you today. Back from a little bit of a hiatus. This is our Thursday night show, usually 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And last couple weeks, we have been traveling, vacationing, doing a bunch of lame dad stuff. Um, you know how it goes. Um, and so we're back. We're ready to go. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Become a channel member where you'll get access to all all archive videos. Support independent media. Super chats enabled. Super thanks for the replay gang. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. And if you'd like to buy me a sandwich, make sure that you shoot me a Cash App. Hashtag Sandwich Gang. And if you didn't know, sandwich is spelled with two M's. Sandwich. But today's show, thousands have disappeared. Thousands have disappeared. Oh my goodness, thousands have disappeared. So I've got a variety of videos. God Rules is going to weigh in. We'll go back and forth with a variety of different videos, all sort of on this sort of disappearance kind of topic. And it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show. So grab some popcorn. And if you would like your comment to be noticed, and if you'd like us to interact with your comments in the chat, there's two ways you can accomplish that. One is whenever I see a new person in the chat, I'm going to acknowledge you. The second thing is you can super chat. You can super chat. So the super chat's enabled. Super thanks for the replay gang. And whatever support you'd like to give is very helpful. So, with no further ado, thousands have disappeared. Today on Two Dads React. Let's go. Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening? What's happening?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm all right. It's good to see you. It's been a minute. What has it been? Was it 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
been a
know
little
you
while.
were you were carting, doing a bunch of lame old dad duties, carting kids around and traveling state to state and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was doing much of the same. Uh, Plus, I had a couple trips out of town and some other things going on. But we're back in the place to be.
Yeah, barely, man. It took me for a while to get over here. Trying to get a bunch of stuff in place and like usual.
Well, we're in the place to be. We're gonna have a good show as usual. I have something to start our show with, and this is speaking of a disappearance. It's
All
speaking
right.
of a disappearance. She may have a little bit of a different idea about what kind of a disappearance, but let's see what she's talking about. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one. All right, here we go. Let's see what she's talking about.
If millions of people just disappeared off the face of the earth, worldwide, in the twinkling of an eye, you need to know that it was not a cleansing of the universe. It was not an alien abduction. It was the supernatural removal of every single born-again believer, along with most likely all children under the age of accountability, by God prior to the start of the soon coming 7 years of judgment prophesied in the book of Revelation 6 through 19.
Okay, that's all we need to play of that. So she's talking about a different kind of disappearance. And so
Yeah.
wait a minute. So of these thousands that are disappearing, you think it could be uh it doesn't it does the Bible say it has to be at the same time that everyone disappears? Or could it be, or wait a minute, that's not actually in the Bible, is it? What she's talking about. So what do you have to say?
Well, I mean, that's like a common Christian viewpoint of the end times that basically there's going to be like essentially a rapture and a lot of people are going to be left behind. This is basically the left behind series type of mentality, which a lot of people believe in. I don't personally believe it goes like that. Matter of fact, I think the whole thing they're talking about already happened 1,500 years ago, and they don't even know it happened. I talk about that on my channel a little bit. I think I've talked about it. Have I talked about it over here or no?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I think it happened before the medieval times, and then I think the 1,000-year reign was during the medieval times. But and I actually just did a video about that right before we got on. I was talking. I got some more new details on all that stuff, but that's actually not what this video we're doing. This live stream is about. But yeah, I didn't expect you to throw me this curveball, man.
So yeah, this not this kind of disappearance. That's not what we're talking about.
No, no,
But
no, not really.
it's a disappearance nonetheless. You want to you want to give us a little bit right now
Yeah, I
on the
mean, so
topic?
basically, and you already flip it over. Yeah, okay. So here we go. So what's going on is we have a lot of things going on with the animal kingdom and insects. Let me show you that really quick. I was trying to open all this stuff. I have actually some really strange stuff to show as well. Insect populations are plummeting and why it matters. So basically, what's going on is 40% of insect populations are in decline. They're talking about like a number of them could be extinct like in a few years. And we have 4 species of frogs that have already went extinct recently. And they, of course, eat bugs, obviously. And of course, what's interesting about all this as well, we have all these preservations across America, right? Where they have all these, or conservation, what do they call them? Conservations? Is that what they're called? I don't even know what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
65% decline in animal populations in the conservations themselves, where supposedly no people are. There's no people there. Your SUV's not pumping gas, smoke into it, And actually, that's another thing. Like I've done as a mechanical engineer, I had to study pollution in college, and we have very, very clean exhausts on cars. We have very, very clean energy from coal-fired power plants compared to other parts of the world, like China. China's really bad. That's why they used to wear masks. I don't know if they still do it. In cities, they wear masks because cities, they essentially trap a lot of that pollution inside the city because of how the heat works in a city. But it's interesting that, they try to tell us it's because of all this pollution and global warming that's the reason why all this stuff's happening. But actually, what I'm seeing is it doesn't actually add up. All right. So basically, they tell us the number one pollutant is CO2. Now, CO2 is what you and I breathe out. We breathe out CO2, right? So I don't know how that can pollute when actually NASA said that CO2 actually makes the plants get more green. Where was that at? I had here it is. I got it right here.
It's what the plants breathe. That's
Yeah,
right.
NASA did a study. It's right here. It's on this guy's channel. Let me make it fit a little better. Jimmy, Dore. I think you've heard of him. He's a comedian, I think. He has a podcast on YouTube, and he talks about a lot of stuff. And he actually points out this NASA study that proves that because of more CO2, we actually have a greener planet and more animals and more plant life. Since 1980, we have more green plant life. But for some reason, we still have all these animals in decline while that's happening. So it's not because of global warming, is what I'm trying to get at. It's not because of CO2 and all this stuff. It's just kind of the reason why it's disappearing is a mystery. And I think I actually postulate some of the stuff it could be, but it's not because of, CO2 emissions. The reason why they say CO2 emissions are so bad is because it causes greenhouse gases and it makes it warmer. But that actually causes the planet to become greener, which seems like the exact opposite direction of what they claim, because they're trying to act like they're saving the planet, but they want to get rid of CO2 and they want to darken the sun. Did you see the article about that? Wanting to darken the sun?
No,
Biden,
no, I didn't
Biden
see
wants
that.
to do it. Yeah, he wants to darken the sun. Let me find that one. I have that right here. This is pretty hilarious. So they want to darken the sun and essentially lower CO2 so there'll be less green plant life. Well, does that even make any sense? Why would you darken the sun and get rid of CO2 to have less plant life if you're trying to save the planet? White House admits that we might need to block the sun to stop climate change. Does that even make any sense? Like, you're trying to save the planet by getting rid of the planet? Like, you're trying to get rid of animals and plants and the sun? How does that save the planet? Like, this doesn't make any sense at all when you think about it logically, right?
Now, this is interesting. I have something to follow this up. It's not the same thing. It's related to the sun.
Right. Okay.
So check this out.
All right.
All right. So this is from a content creator that shout out to Solo TV 84. And this video, apparently, there's a solar flare that is, that is likely or possibly going to knock out power in at least a significant portion of the Earth for up to 2 weeks. That's what they're claiming.
What is that again? Say that again.
It's a solar flare.
Okay.
A solar flare. So let's watch this and see what they're talking about. Let's turn that up.
Space Weather News, your daily source for all things space weather related. If you enjoy our videos, please consider showing your support by subscribing to the channel. Today, an extraordinary cosmic event is on the horizon. On August 4th and 5th, a minor G1 class geomagnetic storm is set to grace our skies. This celestial marvel is the result of a cosmic dance between the Sun and Earth, ignited by solar activity. Solar flares, those magnificent bursts of energy, have erupted from the active sunspot AR 3380 on August 1st and 2nd. These dazzling displays have showered space with charged particles, capturing the attention of both astronomers and curious minds. But the grandeur doesn't end there. A powerful coronal mass ejection, born from a magnetic filament eruption on July 31st, is speeding towards Earth. It's a cosmic cannonball of solar wind and charged particles, ready to collide with our planet's magnetic field. As these charged particles interact with Earth's atmosphere, the night sky is poised to come alive with the aurora borealis, painting a vivid tapestry of colors: green, pink, blue, and even purple. Those lucky enough to be at higher latitudes closer to the poles are in for a front row seat to this breathtaking cosmic display. Beyond its stunning beauty, this geomagnetic storm offers insights into space weather. Scientists eagerly await the interaction between solar winds and Earth's magnetosphere, gaining essential data to comprehend these cosmic forces and their potential impact on our technology. To witness this spectacle, find a spot away from city lights, embrace patience, and keep your cameras ready. Nature's performance is unpredictable, but the memories you capture will last a lifetime. So mark your calendars for the 4th and 5th of August and prepare to be swept away by the wonders of our solar system. Thank you for joining us on this cosmic adventure through space weather news. Your support means the world to us, and we appreciate the many of you who have sent us your donations via the Super Thanks feature. If you want to further show your support and become an integral part of our journey, click on the Join button. By joining our YouTube channel.
Okay, so Solo TV 84, he shared this. Now he believes that due to this event that I just showed, that it could or likely could knock power out for up to 2 weeks.
That's a long time.
That's right. And so
I hope that's not the case, because you're going to be seeing a lot of mayhem if that happens.
yeah, well, he's talking about stocking up. He's like one of
Oh
these
yeah,
guys. Like he
prepper.
yeah, I wouldn't call him a survivalist, but he has been encouraging folks to stock up on certain items.
I
So
watch a few of
anyhow,
those guys. I watch a few of those guys. Here and
yeah.
there.
So anyhow, so I thought that was interesting. And back on the topic of disappearance. Now, this is not disappearance of animals or reduction of population in animals. This is about a strategy that used to be used frequently, and sometimes people will still use this as a way to vanish, to disappear. So you decide you want a new life, you decide you don't want anybody to know where you went or have no trace of you. This is a was a usual strategy. It's not as easy to do now, but it was a usual strategy. Here we go.
This book made thousands of people disappear. The paper trip is part of a collection of guidebooks that taught people various pursuits, like how to commit mail fraud and dodge bill collectors. But in this particular book, it taught people how to trick the government into thinking they disappeared by acquiring a birth certificate from a dead person that would then let them get a social security card and assume an entirely new identity. It started as a way to dodge the Vietnam draft, and it's believed to have been successfully used by 75,000 people, although today it doesn't work as well now that databases have moved online.
Okay, so people used to get this book, and it had the secret. It showed you how to, beat the system. And one of the strategies is they would try to find a dead person, and they would get their social security number, and then they could take on their identity and then move somewhere else in the world. And there you go. There's a vanishing technique. All right.
Actually, that's interesting you mentioned that. There's a new, did you hear about the new cryptocurrency that's sort of on fire right now, called WorldCoin, where you go and scan your eyeball? Did you hear about that one?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Look at this. There's a line of people lining
Okay,
up to get their
hold here.
free money.
Okay, there we
Lining
go.
up to get their free money on this coin, and they scan your eyeball, and then they give you a passport. And apparently, a number of governments and businesses are interested in using this. This sounds like literally out of a sci-fi movie, like a dark one from like the 90s or something. And it sounds like the new, world, of course, order
Oh
type of
yeah.
thing. I say it that way for a free reason, folks.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, they're scanning your eyeball, so they have real, like very detailed information about your physiology of your eye,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna could this be something that they end up attaching to social, credit score, and then when they have these smart cities, that's why they're trying to get everybody to update their to be climate friendly. New ovens, you remember the whole thing about the gas ovens, new air conditioner, because they got these smart chips in these new devices, and these smart chips can communicate between them each other, and then they could actually use it part of the social credit score to where, like, if you did something they didn't like, then they could essentially turn off your device or something like that. So you can't get in your refrigerator. You were a bad boy. You can't eat today. You're gonna have to like
Hey,
jerry rig your refrigerator and stuff. Or no,
hey
what do they
everybody.
call it? What did they used to do to like the PlayStations? They would jailbreak it. Jailbreak. You have to jailbreak your
That's right. Hey everybody,
jailbreak.
like the video, like, share, comment, subscribe. We've got 68 people watching, only 21 likes. Let's try to get those likes up. Share the video. Also, put a comment in the chat and I will shout you out. Hello, Sammy Miles, and hello, Barrick Builds. All right. Here I've got another one here, and this is also about disappearance. Thousands disappear, right? All right. Let's see what we're talking about.
I actually had a video. Let's see if I can find it, man. I had a video where I actually had some really interesting trail cam footage of something that
Okay.
looks really big. See if I can. I think I got it right here. Is this it? Here it is. I think this is it right here. I got it. Actually, no, it's not. Let's go over here to show it. Okay, this is on Thinker Thunker's channel. And let's see, where is it at? You'll start seeing some guys, some weird creatures over here, I think is where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, over here.
Oh,
You see
yeah.
there's something really tall walking
Yeah.
across there. There's like 4 or 5
Uh-huh.
of them.
Yeah.
Guys and monkeys. See how big they are? And actually,
Uh-huh.
they compared the size to the buffalo, and it shows them to be like 9 foot tall or something. He shows how how tall they are compared to the buffalo. Buffaloes are very tall. I think buffaloes are like 8 foot to here or something, if I remember
Right.
correctly, something like that. Let's see what he shows here. I think he shows like a. What does he say here? Uh, he's just pointing out stuff. I can't remember where this is at. Where is this at? This is in Yellowstone National Park. So it's Yellowstone National Park. And he's got other this guy's got some of the best videos I've seen. Like he has one where it shows something throwing a tree. Like there's no human
Ooh.
that could throw a tree. I mean, it like literally throws a tree super far. There's
I'm
no way
pretty
as a
strong.
human.
I'm pretty strong.
I don't think he could throw a tree like this dude. I don't care how strong you are. I think you'd be the world's strongest man. I don't think you're going to be able to do what this guy did. But yeah, so there's some weird stuff out there like that. I
I
didn't know
think
we were
it's
going to be
Brian
talking about
Shaw.
this either.
It's Brian Shaw in a fursuit.
Brian Shaw.
That's like one of
Yeah,
the
I can believe
world's
it.
strongest men. He's a really
Yeah,
tall guy.
yeah. Yeah, who's the guy he always hangs out with? The British guy. I can't remember his name.
Eddie Hall.
Eddie Hall. He's got the mohawk
Yeah,
or
and Eddie
whatever.
Hall has the record for, or he used to have the record for deadlift. Now I think it's the guy that played the Mountain in Game of Thrones, he now has the record for deadlift.
Oh yeah. Don't they call him like they don't call him Thor? What do they call that guy? They call him something like that, right?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I
uh,
can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about though. I know who you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah. So that's pretty funny though. But yeah, and actually that's I mean, we're not talking about disappearance like that, folks. We're talking about lots of other we were actually talking about animals and stuff. Uh Global loss of wildlife. I don't know if I can get this on the screen better. There we go. Is significantly more alarming than previously thought in a new study. Here you have 60 Minutes talking about it, the vanishing wild. It's actually a really serious problem people don't realize. And I've been talking about it a little bit on some of my channels, but uh, it makes you wonder what's really causing it. Because it's, I mean, honestly, the way they talk about climate change and stuff, it doesn't actually make sense when you start really thinking through it. It makes very little sense.
mhm,
And I actually took classes in pollution because my focus was power plant technology when I was in college. So you have to know a lot about pollution when you're doing that. And the thing is that what they're talking about with climate change doesn't make a lot of sense because this NASA study, like I said earlier, where was that at? This one, yeah, this NASA study, Jimmy Dore here points out that we're actually have more green and more grass and more trees, more plant life since the 1980s because of CO2. They tell us that CO2 is bad. They're actually trying to tax people now too. In New York City, they have a law called local law. I can't remember. This is you know how we've always talked about could they ever tax you for breathing? They actually can in a
yeah,
weird way. They actually are doing it in New York City right now. They're charging landlords 268 times tons of CO2 per building emission limit. So, like, if you're a landlord and you own a building and you have people living in it that produce CO2 because they breathe out CO2, if you breathe out too much CO2, they'll actually charge your landlord, and he will then charge you more rent for that fee. So you're actually going to be paying for breathing living in New York City now. So can you believe that? Get taxed for breathing? It's like the most ridiculous thing ever, but that's what they're
that's
doing
how
now, man.
that's how we get it. Got to get our money some kind of way. All right, I got some
What's this?
more.
By the way, with that Alaska thing,
Yeah,
my wife watches all those missing and people dying and people killing each other type of shows all the time, like,
hmm
crazy killers and stuff. She watches all that stuff. And one of the things that they always talk about is like the Nevada desert and Alaska are good places for serial killers because it's like a vast empty area and then they can just get away with whatever. So that's another thing too. But other than
yeah.
Bigfoot, other than Bigfoot killing it could be serial killers, you
It
know.
could be it's hilarious, call it right, or maybe it's a bunch of like power lifter serial killer giants that
In
just
monkey
happen to
suits.
wear suits.
Yeah, we're monkey suits, man.
Right.
Hey, that's a
Okay.
good. You got to put it on Bigfoot, man. We got Eddie Hall out there. He's doing stuff like this wearing a monkey suit, man. And I
You
can
know, I
actually see
was
him doing it because he does a lot of crazy stuff. So,
okay. So I don't know what made me think of doing this. Every once in a while, I'll watch like a informational animal kind of show. So my YouTube
yeah.
algorithm seems to think every once in a while that I want to watch like ferrets and monkeys and like gorillas and stuff. So there was this one that was comparing a gorilla's strength, a silverback, to a human being, and they were talking about the difference. So a silverback will be like standing erect will be like 5'3", 5'4", but
Hmm.
they're like 500 pounds, like 300 to 500 pounds, right? And it's like basically all muscle. And they're talking about how much more fast twitch muscle they have than human beings, and how much kind of what kind of a modification you have to make to a human being for them to be anywhere near as strong. For instance, bite strength, because of the way that their head is his design, and they have that like ridge in the back of their head, right? Which actually serves as like it's protection, obviously, from injury, but then it's also like it's like it creates a longer lever point for jaw strength. And so the average human has like somewhere between 100 and 150 psi or whatever of jaw strength. Yeah, a silverback has 1,000.
Wow, dude. I saw a big muscle guy like try to take on a little monkey in tug of war, and the monkey won. It was pretty funny. It
Of
was like
course,
not even a big monkey.
dude.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I was
So
saying about
anyhow,
Bigfoot. If he actually really exists and he throws a tree, he's gonna be way stronger than a human, you know? It's gonna be like insane strength.
yeah.
Probably
So
take on
anyhow.
some gorillas. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Is there more to the missing 411 phenomenon than simple coincidence? The missing 411 refers to a series of unsolved cases of people who have mysteriously vanished in national parks and forests around the world. These disappearances, extensively documented by retired police officer David Paulides, share eerie similarities that defy simple explanations. The theory suggests that these disappearances could be linked by more than just location. The victims often vanish without a trace, even when in sight of others, and search dogs are frequently unable to pick up a scent. When bodies are found, they are often in areas previously searched, with cause of death remaining unexplained. Some speculate that these disappearances could be the result of cryptid encounters, alien abductions, or even interdimensional phenomena. Others suggest a government cover-up, pointing out the National Park Service's alleged reluctance to maintain a database of the missing people. While skeptics attribute these cases to simple accidents or wildlife encounters, the peculiar patterns and strange circumstances surrounding these disappearances continue to stir curiosity and unease. The question remains, what's really behind the missing 411 phenomenon? As more and more people continue to vanish, the mystery only deepens.
Huh. So, I mean, the thing that really gets me is it says the animals, the dogs can't find a scent,
Yep.
right? And then they seem to find the people in places they looked before. So that's kind of like kind of hinting at this whole abduction thing or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm not saying that I really necessarily believe that's what it is, but I think there's a lot of strange things going on around us. So who knows, man? Supposedly the GOV just told us that they exist. So, I mean, who knows, right? So I
Yeah.
don't
So
know, man.
wait
It
a
could be
minute.
just
Tell me
crazy
about this.
people.
I think that sounds familiar to me. So what? Tell us about the GOV.
Oh, the government, you mean GOV?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. I
no,
know
they
about
have their
that.
little
So
they have their little what is it? I can't even think what it conference, whatever. Hearings. That's what it's called. They have their
right.
hearings with that guy who's supposedly high up in the government that like has official evidence of aliens and stuff like that, right? So it's not like we haven't had evidence of that for like 100 million years. I mean, we've known about that since like the 50s or something, but now all of a sudden our government has decided to tell us that they do exist, right?
Right.
The question is why? Why are they telling us now? You know why? That's the question right there.
Well, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if, uh, you know, obviously they know a lot of stuff that the general public doesn't know, and they probably should know a lot of stuff that the general public doesn't know because you don't want to create like a mass hysteria. But it just also depends on what it is that they know that they're not telling us that maybe we should know about, right? So maybe they have found something out that it's like this might be the kind of thing that we actually start telling people about, because, they're getting closer. The mothership is getting closer to Earth.
Some say that they work with them, and they have been working with them for a long time. So I don't know, man. Hard to say what it is, but
Yeah.
I just did a video about that on one of my channels, and it got age, of course, restricted. I thought that was really interesting. Aliens, apparently that's a really taboo, I was like, everybody's talking about it. Why would you do that? I mean, like, everybody's literally talking about this topic. What's so weird about me talking about it, But
That's pretty silly. All right.
yeah,
Let's see
that
here.
was silly.
Yeah, no, I don't want to play that anymore. I played enough of that. Okay. Here's
So there's missing
news.
animals and missing persons in national parks now. This is kind of a weird thing going on. Could it be
It
something
is.
in the sky? Could it be? I mean, and I mean also in other ways too, because people say they put things, of course, in the sky. That
Right.
be killing off animals, and then of course, then you got these things flying around. I'm just joking around,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. This is actually some media coverage of this.
Well, as millions head to U.S. national parks this summer, we are shedding light on a little-known list called the List of the Missing. The National Park Service has faithfully kept records of visitors who are gone, often without a trace. And the list is long, with several mysterious disappearances of those who simply set out to bask in the beauty of our nation. Whether it's the waterfalls of Yosemite, the Perseids over Bryce, or the slot canyons of Zion.
Welcome to Zion National Park.
More than 400 million Americans and foreign tourists enjoy the beauty of our national parks each year. Unfortunately, some never make it home.
NPS investigators are continually working to find people who do get lost or have gone missing in national parks.
The National Park Service keeps a list of the missing, and while most people are found or sadly turn out to be suicides, like at the Grand Canyon this February that resulted in an over-the-edge body recovery, some visitors, like the 24 on the Park Service's cold case list, are simply missing.
The risks are everywhere. It's just not national parks. It's just when people go missing in probably a national park, it probably makes headline news.
Survival expert Jason Marsteiner says lightning, snowstorms, and rising floodwaters make situational awareness paramount.
The first mistake is failure to plan. That is telling somebody where you're going, what you're doing, and exactly your itinerary, I guess.
Most of the national park missing are solo hikers, like Charles Lyon, whose car was found on the Grand Canyon South Rim in June of 2021, and James Pruitt, 70, who set out in Rocky Mountain National Park as a snowstorm moved in for what was to be only a day trip.
A lot of people that go on day hikes, they may never have spent a night outside.
Jesse Krebs knows a thing or two about staying safe in extreme conditions. A former Air Force survival, evasion, resistance, and escape specialist, she survived 46 days alone on the hit TV show of the same name. She does not discourage solo hiking.
Letting someone know where you're going, at least two people, before you head out there, and give them, if you can, like, take a picture of the map and write down on the map where you're planning on going, where you're going to be staying each night. Take a picture of all the gear you're taking, including what signaling devices you're taking.
A ranger on the list of the missing for more than 4 decades, and cases go back further. This woman vanished in 1976. And little Dennis Lloyd Martin was last seen in a national park in 1969.
NPS responders, officers, special agents are, highly trained, experienced, and the most proficient subject matter experts to conduct these search and rescue operations.
But with this kind of beauty to behold, lovers of the great outdoors say, keep on exploring safely.
A rainstorm doesn't care what we look like. It doesn't care whether or not we're wearing makeup. Doesn't care what gender we are or what color our skin is or any of that. Doesn't matter a bit. It's just going to do what a rainstorm does. And there's something very freeing about that.
And the National Park Service website does have downloadable maps, road closure information, and guides on how to safely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what this strikes me as. So you want to have sort of plausible deniability, So, say for instance, if now I'm not look, I'm not saying I believe that there's aliens or there's some nefarious plot to abduct people and thin
Well,
out the insect population on Earth. I'm not saying that. However, if you were going to do something like that, you would also need plausible deniability. So,
yeah,
by
right.
running a news story like this, where it just says, look, people are disappearing all the time, and here's how you can prevent yourself from disappearing, just make sure that you don't get lost in the forest and make sure people know where you are. So then people's minds are like, when they hear about these disappearances, even if it's a rather large number, that just basically makes them uh, sort of recognize that it really is dangerous to go out in the forest and that they really need to do their X, Y, and Z. They're not necessarily thinking, well, why are like thousands of people missing? And they're not thinking about that, or like this is like some
Maybe it's
weird
not just
occurrences.
people getting lost, right? Maybe it's not just people getting lost. Maybe it's something else going on,
Right,
right?
right. So they're just focusing on
Yeah.
that part of it. So I thought that that was interesting. Now it was also good advice. You remember that story? I can't remember. This story has got to be at least 10 years old, maybe 15 years old. It was a movie. It was about this guy that he was like a rock climber.
Oh
And he
yeah, yeah. He had to cut his own arm off.
Yeah, yeah, Alive. Was it called Alive? I
Yeah,
think it was called
I
Alive.
think so. Yeah, he had to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
saw it off with a rock or something. Man, it's like so
yeah.
messed up.
Had to
Dude,
cut
that's
his
like
own hand
crazy.
off with a rock, and it
Well,
was the
Evan
same
Tanner,
day.
Evan Tanner, he's a famous UFC fighter. He went out alone and didn't tell anybody where he's going. And he went on some
Yep.
hike. He liked to do this all the time, apparently. Never came back on the last one, and he was like one of the top UFC fighters some years ago. But yeah, it's the same kind of story.
Um. All right. So
There's
I
also a
have.
TV show called. Have you ever heard of this TV show called From? It's about people. They're like out in the middle of nowhere, and then they just get lost in this weird, like alternate reality where they can't escape this like wooded area and they can't get out, and they're all stuck in like this little town. And you try to get out of it, and and it's like you go out this way and you come back this way. It's like
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
like that, and I was watching. It's actually a pretty good show, but then it after the season one, it went to like something I have to pay money. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna pay money for that. But it was kind of
Yeah.
interesting. It had these weird beings that would come out at night and like try to get you. They look like humans, but you had to like be in your house and have everything closed. If you open the door, they'll come in and like get you and stuff. So it's like kind of a nightmare place too. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's
So
that's
I
what's
have.
really happening, man. No, just kidding.
So here. You have
uh,
something else for us?
yeah, I got some stuff. So far we talked about pretty much everything. We talked about Bigfoot. We talked about whatever we talked about, man. I mean, we
Great.
talked about everything so far. Uh,
Aliens, all kind of stuff.
maybe we should talk a little bit
Flying
about this
saucers.
new currency here. This
Yeah.
people, their brains are disappearing. Maybe that's the new one that's disappearing. Is people's brains are disappearing, doing things that don't make sense, right? That's been going on for a few years. So you got people lining up to get a free coin, world. I think it's coin. You have to scan your eyeball, and then you get a passport. What's next? You get like a mark on your hand or something, and you can buy and sell. Is that what's going on here? I don't know, man. It looks a little weird. Looks a little strange. Yes. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
The,
I
the
don't
the
have much else.
address that they had to show up was 666
I don't know, man. I don't.
NWO Drive.
It makes sense. 2023 would be the year that they could introduce this, and people are like, yeah, let's go do that. It's like, what's going on, man? Are we living in Idiocracy? Did you ever see that movie, Idiocracy?
I sure did.
Guy wakes up in a cryo chamber. He's like the smartest man alive. Everybody's just watching the dumbest shows ever. And the president was like a wrestler or something like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a funny movie. But I feel like 2023 is like we're in the twilight zone, and nothing seems to make sense. I just hear stories, and I'm like, oh, okay, another crazy story. And I just come here on YouTube and I just talk about all the crazy stuff going on, and everybody wants to watch and learn or hear about it and talk about it because honestly, what we see in a week now was like a year's worth of news like 5-10 years ago, like of
Oh
Crazy
yeah.
Town. Crazy
Well, I'm
Town is
telling
like
you.
every week now.
Look. What's crazy is so I think we didn't do a show for 3 weeks in a row. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
during that time, freaking all kinds of ridiculous stuff was happening. Oh my
Like
goodness,
what?
so much stuff happened.
UFOs.
It was incredible. Just that amount of
Yeah.
time, I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to. Uh, what am
Didn't
I
even
gonna
talk about
do?
all of it.
Yeah.
Like even Andrew Tate, I just saw some weird stuff about him, man.
Mm,
I think that dude's going to be in some serious trouble soon, and I think a lot of people are going to look bad when he gets in trouble. Because I saw some of the court documents, and
mhm.
oh my goodness, I think that guy's going to get in a lot of trouble. I think it's going to be bad from what I saw. A lot of people think he's like completely innocent and stuff, but I saw the court documents. It don't look good, man. I don't know, man.
I don't think that he is guilty of what they're saying. But I think he did some nefarious, bogus stuff. I mean, he
He's
did
like
some stuff
right
that was.
on the edge, like easily you could look at it either way. Dude, like the stuff he's doing is like really I think he's going to get in trouble big time. I think he's going to get in some big trouble. I think a lot of people have been defending him and having him on. I just saw him on Candace's show. I saw him. He's
Yeah,
like on
Candace.
Tucker.
She was
Like,
on
dude, do you guys
Tucker.
ever
Yep.
do any research? Do you guys ever research? Like he was saying, he was just telling him. Honestly, Tate's been telling people stuff that's not what's really going on. He said, oh, this is just 2020, 2021. The court documents say 2017, 2018 right on it. Like you can literally read it and it says it right on it. And
Mhm.
there's like a bunch of text like messages I got of all the stuff he was saying, and it's just really kind of crazy stuff he was saying. Like, dude, I think it's gonna be messy. And a lot of people that were backing him, they should have been doing research. I mean, honestly, I would not want to back him. But I'm not into that sphere anyways. That's not me. I don't talk about that stuff. And he's such a big dude, everybody just backs him automatically because he's so, huge presence and
Well,
stuff. But I feel like something bad's gonna happen with that.
yeah,
I don't know.
like I said, um, I think that he did some stuff that was pretty greasy. I don't know that it was illegal.
If it
Based
ain't
on my
illegal, it's right on the edge, bro. I'm telling you,
right.
he's like doing some really, really shady
Well, yeah.
stuff, dude.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm just saying what I think. I mean, I don't. I'm not defending the lover boy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that
Get
was part of it. The lover boy. That's like you could really twist that any way you want, man. In court.
yeah. I'm not defending the guy for that. I mean, for running, basically being a virtual pimp. That's basically what he was. Um, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm not defending any of that. Was that stuff illegal? I don't think that technically that stuff was illegal. Is it stuff
In
that you should be
America,
doing?
you're saying in America though, but we don't know about Romania or wherever he's at. It might be not,
Well,
might be a little bit
according
different
to, based on my knowledge of it, I don't think what he did. But in my opinion, I don't think what he did was illegal. I think it was problematic. I think he shouldn't have been doing it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's morally
there. I
wrong.
wouldn't want to
I
be
think it's
him. I
wrong.
wouldn't want to be him. That's all I gotta say. I wouldn't want to
Yeah,
be him
but
right
I
now.
don't know if I don't know if it was necessarily illegal. But I will say this: I will say that if it was, um, if it was illegal or not, the response to him being arrested, the response and the reaction of global media to basically go to straight attack mode in saying all of these nefarious and evil things about him constantly, that I think is a sign of something. And so both things could be true. He could actually have done something wrong, and the message that he was getting to a lot of young boys who were sort of rudderless, didn't have anything. I mean, it's a lot of toxic masculinity kind of talk,
It's
and
interesting because like they're making it more popular by doing that too,
I
It's
know,
like this
I
it's
know.
that weird effect, That's just how the internet is. You start attacking somebody, everybody starts liking them. Oh, he must be really good, man. We gotta back that guy, Everybody starts attacking you, you know.
Okay, so I have been covering or reviewing or whatever, looking at a number of, and we've done these on this show, a number of these sort of. Well, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to apologize to the audience because there's some language. Okay, he uses some language, but here we go.
Here we go. If I were a boy. You is a fucking boy.
Bitch, why would you do that shit, bitch, and I'm on fucking live, bitch, with your sour pussy ass, bitch? Get your stupid ass out of here. That's why your motherfucking baby daddy left you. Let me end this shit, bitch. You a clown.
What
Sorry
in the
about-
world, dude?
So I'm sorry about the language, everyone. I know this is a family show. I apologize for the language.
It's ma'am.
Okay.
You remember that whole thing from Blockbuster? The guy's like 6 foot tall and he's like going to the little guy. It's ma'am.
But here's the thing. And there's another clip. There's a clip of a transgender woman, a trans woman, and so she goes over to whatever. X-Man goes over to double X-Man goes over to anyhow, whatever. It's a transgender woman goes over to this group of guys, and it's black guys, and she interviews them, basically asking the question, rate me. What do you think I am? Right? Rate me.
Right.
And one of them says a 9, and they go around, and one of them says a 3, and the trans woman said, so I'm not even going to talk to you, right? Obviously had a lot of work done. Pretty much looks like a woman, but you can kind of tell that it's not a woman. Natural, and so then she goes back around and she says, what if I was trans? Then what would I be? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the thing that I think is pretty nefarious and gross and disgusting and stuff about this is that you're monkeying around with people with their sexuality, right? Because now so it's bad for everybody. You're trying to trick people, right? That's bad. You're trying to get them to rate you, to give yourself to make yourself feel good, but it's not good for them either. It's just terrible. But there's this trend of this kind of stuff happening, and there is and I've been highlighting on our show too. I'm not going to play. Is Jesse?
You heard about Leah Thomas, right? Leah Thomas just got banned from swimming. International swimming ban post. So he's banned from women's swimming now. Leah Thomas, the one that was,
Oh yeah.
That just happened. And also there's another one I was watching, a rugby player, trans rugby player that puts 3 women on a stretcher. Obviously there's a little bit of a difference between a man and rugby is really a rough sport too. That's like football without pads, folks. That's football without pads, man. And you got women against this one. And the dude is not even trying to look like a woman. Dude, the dude is just straight dude. Just straight dude. And the reporter's going up to him.
Macho Savage, in that South Park.
Can you imagine Macho Man Randy? Yeah. Him being in rugby with women with no pads and just crushing them all, you know. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at his legs. Check this picture out. This guy's not even trying. He's got like thick legs too, man. His arms aren't bad either. Well, they're not huge, but his legs are pretty thick. He's like crushing women in rugby, man. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So I've been highlighting folks that have been speaking out, ministers in particular, because it seemed like there was like radio silence. It seemed like radio silence for a long time.
501c3, because they tax breaks, you know, and they can't say certain things, political. Yeah, that's devil's little thing there. 501c3, man.
It seemed like it was radio silence, but it seems like as of late, you've got a number of folks that are starting to speak out more. Here's one, and this is just general, you know, rainbow here.
The altos and sopranos are mad. There's something wrong in our church because the altos ain't talking to the sopranos because they all messing with the same musician, and they don't understand the altos and sopranos are mad at each other, but he's in love with the tenor. I told the men in my church, I want you to stop shopping at Baby Gap. Those pants are too small. You look like a little boy. I need you to get something that tells me you want a woman. Now, all this, y'all are mad. I'm gonna preach. You ain't got to invite me back. I got my own church. Well, this is a male purse. No, that is a woman's pocketbook. And I want to know why you have a pocketbook. Because my mother had one, but my daddy never carried a pocketbook. Men of God, talk back to me. What man wants to carry a pocketbook?
So, and here's another.
I like his parable language there, kind of like Jesus there, just speaking in different terms. You know, he said tenor and soprano and all that kind of stuff.
No. He was talking about in the choir. So you have the soprano section, the alto section, and the tenor section. Sopranos and altos are usually women. The tenors are usually
That's what I'm saying. He was using that terminology though to review. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then he was saying because there's a lot of stuff, especially in Black church, where the choir director or the musicians, sometimes they're batting for the other team, as it were, and artists,
right?
Musicians. There's a usual. Yeah. Well, there's a usual. And especially in church, it's like a magnet in church for folks.
Really? So you're saying there's a lot of them in church in the music? Yeah.
I'm saying especially in Black church, there are a lot of men that like men.
Okay.
There's a lot of men that like men that are ministers of music, choir directors.
Sean,
stuff like
I got a question for you. Do you like men?
No.
I'm just joking with you, dude. Hey, you're like a musician, man. I gotta ask. You said not bad for the other team.
No, I'm not batting for the other team. I'm batting for the Lord's team. All right, let's see here. Let's keep going. So take a listen to this. This is interesting. This is Bishop Patrick Wooden, and he's rebuking Pastor Jamal Bryant. If you don't know who Jamal Bryant is, really talented pastor in Atlanta, big church in Atlanta, and he got caught. He's a married man. He got caught with his side piece, which is a guy. Okay, so he got caught doing some stuff like this, and so listen to what this preacher has to say.
There's a Pastor Jamal Bryant, and he went and visited a LGBTQ affirming church. That is an oxymoronic statement, if there has ever been one. There are no teachings of Christ that endorses homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, or any of those things. So then how can you be an LBGTQ church? So he goes to that gathering place. He said that he wanted to apologize on behalf of pastors who may have hurt them.
I am here because the black church owes this community an apology. And I wanted to come tonight, not just as pastor of New Birth. I wanted to come for the pastors who have hurt you.
Stop right there, I haven't seen enough. The zebra colored coat and the next guy, I guess they're married to each other. And so he's down there apologizing.
Have you heard this terminology? So in black churches, there'll be the pastor, the senior pastor, and his wife is called the first lady. So in some of these other churches, it'll be the pastor and then the first gentleman. If he's
are you saying like you're saying into the LGBT ones there? You're saying, or
listen, what I'm saying is when the pastor is married to another guy, they call that guy the first gentleman.
Okay, they actually have churches doing
what they're doing in these churches and these LGBTQ.
Really? Is there a lot of them? Is there a lot of these churches like this?
Look, man,
I'm just wondering. Recently, I don't know.
So what was it? It was November. In November, I left my last church gig, and I was a minister of music at a big church in where I live, and big black church, kind of a historic church for the town that I'm in, and stuff. And I was there for about a year, and after I left there, I was still thinking maybe I want to still play in church. Since then, I've kind of decided I don't know that I want to do that anymore. Just nothing against church. It's just I'm so busy with other stuff, and I've had some bad experiences, and I just don't want to repeat those. So anyhow, I was looking, and somebody referred me the name of a church, and they were like, "Hey, they're looking for somebody," and I was like, "Okay, well, this seems good." I got on their website, and they're kind of talking the stuff, all the Jesus stuff, Savior, all of this. And I kept looking, and then I started to notice that one of the ministers was married to another guy, and that their ministry was, they were all about, being an outreach to the LGBT, the alphabet community, and affirming and all this kind of stuff. And one of the women one of the pastors, she says she was bisexual. You know, and so this was just in a regular.
So you didn't take it, obviously?
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is, it's masquerading as if it is what it is that you think a church would be, because they use the same terminology and vernacular for certain things. And look, you go to those churches and the music will be killing, right? Really great, and a lot of talent and stuff like this. And you'd be looking around and it's like, what's wrong with the choir director? They have like a different is the choir director a guy? Does he have a purse on? Why does he have high heels on? I'm serious. So it'll be stuff like that. And I see. So anyhow, let's keep going. So like I said, in black church, in a traditional black church,
that's interesting. I didn't know that it was going on with the black church. Really, I didn't know that.
Well, and it's not just the black church, because there's, man, I wish I still had this clip. I clipped it.
I don't have a problem with if somebody wants to be in their own private time, whatever they are, they can be whatever they are. But I mean, a church is a church, I don't think you shouldn't be like, I don't know. I just feel like that doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't have a man and a man leading a church. That just doesn't make sense, dude. It's like messed up.
I know.
Sorry, it's messed up.
This stuff has infiltrated everything. It wasn't a Unitarian church. It was a
Unitarian. That's
church.
really bad.
And
okay, yeah, Unitarian is not even a church, man. Unitarian is just like not even Christian. So
yeah, but it wasn't. I misspoke. It wasn't Unitarian. It was an Episcopal church, and they read their. It was like a, rainbow friendly, church, and they read some creed, and it was like the Rainbow Creed, and it was like all kind of heresy and debauchery.
And see, this is what I'm talking about. I've noticed this with some, and I don't think I'm not going to say it's with all of them because.
And that wasn't a black church. That was a white church. But yeah,
I've seen some gay people from like 10, 20 years ago that like really tried to make arguments from the Bible, and they were. I'm like, okay, you're trying to make arguments, you're trying to do your thing. Okay, I understand that. But what I've seen lately is you see these like people that are not even trying to be biblical. They don't even care what the Bible says. They're just making it say whatever they want to. And then they're just like, oh, it doesn't matter. Jesus can be whatever I want him to be. And I'm like, no, that's not true. The Bible says something. If you don't like it, then don't be part of the religion, But if you're going to try to do something, try to be biblical is what I'm saying. Like, try to actually follow the Bible. Don't try to make up stuff and just make up all weird cockamamie doctrines, and they don't even make sense. They're not even biblical. Because I've seen these videos of guys going into these churches and they claim to be LGBT. And I think there's probably some legitimate people that are LGBT that are trying to live right and are trying to do, what I'm saying? Like, they're actually trying to follow the Bible. I've seen some, but there's others, it seems like of recent, where they're just like, well, I could just say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. Jesus is not God. I say he's whatever, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? They even say Jesus is gay and stuff. Like, no, he isn't. Come on, give me a break, dude.
It's like totally ridiculous.
I know.
And some of that stuff starts with Jesus.
I give them. I'm okay if they try to make an argument, but if they're trying to just like ignore the Bible, then you're wrong. Just flat out wrong all the way. But go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, like like this stuff, like Jesus married Mary Magdalene, and he had all this kind of stuff. It's like, dude,
Dan Brown.
It's like, dude, where did you? That's all. Like, where did you get that from? Like, who? It's just like some stuff is just
probably
like
a Gnostic text, New Testament time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even think that they have a reference. Dude, I don't even think they have a reference.
I don't know. There might be one spiritualist book that was written like in 300 AD or something that says it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even have a reference, and they're just making some stuff, pulling some stuff out of their butt. Just to try to. It's just like, come on, man. Anyhow, let's keep going.
On behalf of pastors, you do not speak for me. You do not speak for us. There's something wrong with Atlanta. Lord have mercy. We got to pray against that principality that's set over that city. And you young men, I hope you saw how them young sissy boys were shouting. So you know not to shout like that. Lest I come and correct you in the middle of your dance. Hold it. Let me show you how to shout right. Y'all don't like me today. Not only that, but show where he teaches another gospel.
Stuff that was applicable for your grandmother means nothing to you. For me to tell 16-year-olds to be celibate is one thing. A 37-year-old who's used to getting some, I need a different kind of gospel.
All right, stop right there. Just stop right there. Now, right there.
That's not the gospel for one, dude. That's like a rule, about living. But okay. Yeah, that's kind of messed up though. I don't know.
Yeah. The first lie he told was that what was true for one generation is not true for another. When the Bible says God's truth endureth to all generations. Number one, God's truth. Psalms 100 and verse 5, the last clause, endureth to all generations. So what was true yesterday is true today. Now, I do give him credit for telling the truth in it. He said, that's another gospel. Now, let's give him a hand, because that's true, because that ain't the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's some made up junk. And Paul said that if they come any other way with another gospel, Paul said it is not the gospel. The true gospel teaches everybody to live holy, to live right. He has a tremendous congregation who amens all that stuff. Same preacher who said his church will use the property to grow cannabis. These things we can't unite under. You can't say, well, he's a brother and I'm a brother, man, and two brothers ought to work together. Come with brothers, brother. Come on, brother, man. Brother, nothing. We're not brothers in that regard. No, ain't no kin to you at all. We ain't got nothing in common. Not at all. Because that's not right. This is the same preacher one Sunday, while preaching in favor of a woman's right to choose. On that same Sunday, they had a christening, a child dedicating service. And people brought their children up to be dedicated by that preacher. But the preacher just got through preaching in favor of abortion. You gonna let those hands dedicate your child? See, it's things like this that you don't want to have to deal with. But here's the problem for those who are not pastors. And I don't know what it's like when it comes to you. But when you are a leader, for the leader to say nothing, indifference is an endorsement. The assumption is if we don't say anything about it, then we go along with it. Well, I don't want nobody to misunderstand Patrick Wooden. Patrick Wooden doesn't go along with that at all because it's not Bible. Even though God is calling for unity in the body, but you can't just have unity. It has to be unity built on truth.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of funny. Like back 10, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it was really easy to find a minister that would piss you off and say something that would make you want to change your life a little bit. You know what I mean? These days, it seems like a lot of them are just saying whatever people want to hear. And that guy's not doing it, of course. I think that's like actually how a minister should be, is trying to rub you the wrong way and get you to do the right thing. I remember one time I was in church, this missionary came from India. He's like an Indian dude. He goes up front and he just starts saying something that was really offensive. Like he was saying, the reason why people are going to hell is because you're not talking to them about God. Something like that, you know? And you could hear people squirming and like muttering stuff under their breath during the service. And I was like kind of laughing. I was like, oh, this is funny, dude. Like I actually, because I feel like, you know, if you're going to a church, you need to, it's not there to make you feel good and air conditioning, and it's supposed to make you, it's like going to a workout and exercise. You're not having fun. You're like working out. You're like trying to get your body better shape. You're trying to get your spirit in a better shape. When you're in church, you're not trying to hear what you want to hear and tickle your ears. You're supposed to be hearing something that makes you offended sometimes even.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if he isn't right all the time, you can understand sometimes a pastor's not right about something, but at least he's going to be right most of the time, probably, because he's trying to get you living right. And it's better than listening to what you want to hear all the time, because you're just going to listen to, and this is what's happened with the internet, because people just watch what they want to see, hear what they want to hear. You know what I mean? So it's gotten to the point where everybody's just into hearing what they want to hear now. And now they've made churches cater to just whatever you want. I think this, that, and the other, and then they'll make a church on that now. So that's not really a church. A church is supposed to like sometimes offend you and try to, iron sharpens iron. It makes you a better person.
That's right.
Right.
Resistance. That's right.
I mean, I might not agree with everything that guy said. I think a lot of what he said I agree with, but I don't know exactly what he means in every respect. But I think he's got some good points. You got to have a standard. You got to live by a standard, and you can't keep changing things and making them whatever you want them to be. Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. So anyhow, today's show's been about these thousands that have disappeared. We talked a little bit about, and this is a usual topic for the show, even if the main topic isn't on this, and that's just to kind of talk about the sort of state of the modern church and how it's interfacing in particular with the sort of rainbow agenda, and how that has been very much aggressive. We're both dads, and so my thing is, live your life, do what you want to do, but leave my kid out of it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I 100% agree with that. Parents should have the last word on what goes on with their kids, and they're the final authority, right? Yeah. Not the government, not your school, right? So
yeah, I'll tell you, some people I think are way too comfortable telling your kid to do something, or
yeah, heck yeah, man.
And you're sitting there, and then they're talking directly to your kid or something.
I'm like they own them. They own them.
You don't get to talk to my kid. You talk to me, and then I'll tell you if it's okay for you to talk to my kid.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
But sometimes,
well, I mean, it's like they're purposely going around the parents too, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, it reminds me of this robbing and everything. All these people going around thinking they can just rob stores and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, because they're disenfranchised, they should be allowed to rob stores. No. No. Why? Why do you think I don't know what's up with this. How is it moral to rob stores? How is it moral to go around parents? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. How can you even justify yourself as being morally superior by doing things that are clearly wrong in every way? I mean, it's so ridiculous. But this is what we're dealing with today. They're actually like trying to argue it's morally good to rob. It's morally good to like go around parents and deceive and influence people in the way you want them to be influenced. Even if you're lying to them, it's okay as long as you get them in the right direction. Their idea of the right direction, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes the cake. I might have played it on, it might have been on this show. Did we play a TikTok clip of that multicolored hair feminist woman that's a teacher that was saying that parenting is fascism?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like, come on, man.
Everything is fascism, dude. It's like everything's fascism.
Parenting is fascism.
Being a father's fascist.
Your kid. What the heck?
Fathers are fascist. Families are fascist. Come on, man. Everything's fascist.
Oh man. So it's like, but they think they know better. They think they know better than we know, and that's honestly maybe more scary than anything to me. Is since they think they know better than you do, and there's no way that you can be around your kid 24/7. I mean, you can kind of know what's going on most of the time, but there's going to be some time when you're going to have to trust other people to teach your kid, and at some point they're going to get old enough to start doing stuff by themselves, and they're hearing all this garbage, all this stuff that is circulating, and you just hope that you did a good enough job.
Right.
They go the
right way. And that's where you got to put it. And that's where you got to put it. You can't be like trying to control them like in a ridiculous manner, because that usually just pushes them away later in life and they just go whatever opposite direction of what you wanted. But you teach them as they go along and hope that they make the right choices, you know?
Man, that's scary, man. That's really scary. I don't like it. I just want to just be able to just like, you know, like a video game controller. Like, yeah, no, don't go over there. No, 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 go straight home. It's too late at night now.
Yeah. Well, if they grew up
like,
in our time frame, it would be a lot better, right? Like if our
yeah,
kids were in our time frame when we were kids, a lot less to worry about, probably. Right? Yeah.
what's happening,
Yeah, man.
practitioner? How you doing? Well, Proverbs 22:6, is that the what is it? Teach raise a kid the way that they should go, and they'll not depart from it. Is that what Proverbs 22:6 is?
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Training up a child. Yep. That's right. All right. Well, that's our time. Thanks again, folks, for coming. You can like the video on the way out. Like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archive videos, support independent media, super chats enabled, super thanks for the replay gang, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word, spell out the word doctor. If you'd like to buy me a sandwich, then shoot me a Cash App, hashtag sandwich game and sandwich gang. And if you didn't know, sandwich is spelled with 2 M's. Sandwich. So thanks again, and we will check you out next week for another riveting episode of Two Dads React. Good night, everybody.
Yep. See you guys.